Hi guys, I am Sylvia Bichanga.
And I'm Kore Bichanga.
Yes, and today we are here to tell us about ourselves on Miss Rechi's channel. I am an American who came to Kenya as a missionary, and I'm using my Mzungu voice right now, but I have a Kenyan accent I oftentimes use. So I came here and I married this man, so now I live here. Yeah, so I grew up with a group of religious people called Amish people. A lot of people have not heard of them before, but they're actually fairly well known in the States. They are kind of stuck in the 1800s. Like, they have their own business, like business ethics. They're really good. They have really good businesses, but they have a lot of rules. Like, as much as they have a lot of money, they're not allowed to have cars. They don't have electricity. They have to make all their clothes. Like, the women will sew for the men trousers and shirts and their own dresses. The men have to have long hair, wearing a hat. Like, it's a whole thing, a whole culture within the American culture. So as much as I'm an American, I'm not an American because of the culture I grew up in. It's why I still dress the way I do and some of those things. So that's where my background is from. Yeah. Schooling, I went to a one-room schoolhouse, Amish teachers. Our church was divided into four sections, so each section had a school. So you went to school with your neighbors. Okay, I can say that for a lot of the Amish, they live in the countryside, so it would be kind of like in the village, you'll see children running with no shoes on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that they're not allowed to,
Okay.
as much as they have rules about what color your shoes can be and how high the heel can be, but they don't have rules against shoes. It's just that it's kind of like in the village where,
Here in Africa.
yeah, where people like to go without shoes. They feel comfortable, yeah.
Ooh.
But before I came, I was a secretary for my dad at his business. He builds storage sheds. So I was a secretary there, and then later on I was a housekeeper. I cleaned houses for a living. They pay really good in the States to have houses cleaned, so that's what I was doing. My family got a call from a mission called AMA Ministries, and they said that they need a pastor and his family to come to Kenya as a replacement for another pastor and his family that had just left. So they asked us if we would be willing to commit to a 2-year term where we come here. My dad preaches at this church. We live in Kisumu. So that's what we knew when we got my dad's brother to take care of our business and our home. We packed up our things, got on a flight and came to Kenya, never having been here before, not even knowing anything about Africa or Kenya. We came here to work with the mission. So my dad was a pastor. So you find the mission is like a big compound with like 6 or 8 houses, and there's 6 or 8 families in that compound. Each family goes to a different church, most of them in the villages. So they're with a group called Mennonites, but here in Kenya they call themselves Christian Believers Fellowship. They would believe a lot of the things kind of like SDA, except for going to church on Saturdays. But I don't know any other churches like them here in Kenya.
No, mostly just the SDs.
Yeah. So that's how we came here. My dad was a pastor in a Luo community village, and we lived in Kisumu, drove an hour and a half to church every Sunday. My dad would go Wednesdays for Bible study, and that's what we were doing here when I met him. So we met each other around, was it 2017?
Around 2017.
Yeah.
Then we never dated that year. It was the next year, the
Yeah.
2018. It's when we started dating. 2019, when we did what?
I went home.
You went home.
It's like, enough, just kidding. No, I was, we were dating, but it was kind of a secret. It wasn't something out in the open, so when the mission I was working with found out, I was sent home.
Yeah.
That's what happened for a year.
How? Yeah, I was just working in the office. I used to repair laptops and compute. Yeah, same thing.
Where?
Laptops and phones in Kisumu, Tivoli Center. And yeah, she walked in our office with her dad and a friend. And
Yeah, we
Take
were
it apart.
we were there because we forgot to lock one of our back doors. It was our first week in Kenya, and at home we are used to not always locking the doors, but we found out in Kisumu you can't do that.
Yeah.
so
We had thieves come in. That was the first week we were here. They stole everything. So a friend of ours gave us a laptop. It had some issues. It needed fixing. So we went to Tivoli. I had asked my dad if I can go with him. I saw this handsome man, and the rest is history.
personally, the first time I saw her, I was speechless. Like I couldn't. It was too much, like so much to handle. Like
Really? Okay.
yeah, but for me it was like love at first sight.
Same to me.
Yeah.
How
Like
was the
I started
approach?
trembling.
Okay.
I was just shaking, like my hands were shaking, my legs were shaking, and I was asking myself, what is wrong? He's not even talking to you. Why are you trembling?
How was the approach, Corey?
Okay.
Now you've seen her. What next?
Okay. Like inside my heart, I was like, how can I get this lady? But we never talked the same day, and for me, I was like, I just want to see her.
But we kept seeing each other in town,
So-
but not talking.
Yeah, like,
Like
later.
I would be going past on a picky, he was walking on the street, our eyes just meet. Like,
You move on.
yeah.
Like I don't know how it used to happen, but each time, like I'm just walking, and she passes like with a motorbike, and our eyes were like,
Yeah, and they just lock, exactly. They just lock for a few minutes, seconds, not.
okay,
I approached him first.
How was it?
I slid in the DMs.
How did you?
So I had an iPhone that I wanted to sell. So I knew he works at a phone place, and I was friends with the lady that worked in the front doing like the phone covers and all that. So I was friends with her in Instagram. So I was like, they work together. He must be in her followers. So she had several thousand, but I was just scrolling, looking for him. It was my excuse. So I just DM'd him and I was like, I have an iPhone that I want to sell. If you know of anyone, let me know. Full stop, just like that. So now it was in his court too.
so she came to the office with, I think it was around 3 or 4 iPhones, and she was about to leave with them. Then I just told her to leave the iPhones with me, so that I can try to look for clients
Yeah.
for the iPhones.
Said, yeah.
But in my mind, it wasn't to look for the clients; it's to retain, so that I could be able to see her again. Yeah, and it.
Yeah, so that's how we started talking. And then after letting him know I have an iPhone for sale, I just left it at that. I was like, okay, he now knows I exist. So a week later, I get a text, hey. I was like, okay, business is over, he's back. Sounds good. So then we started talking from there.
Yeah.
Then I gave him my WhatsApp number. And soon after, he told me he loves me. So
After like how long did you say you love her?
It took a while.
It took a while.
7 days. Yeah.
No.
It was. For me, I know. It was 1 week.
7 days, eh?
Okay, the same year, it was close to end of the 2017. She traveled back to the US, so I wasn't able to like see her in person for quite some time. Then the next year she came back.
Yeah.
Was it 2018? Then after that, it's when the love started.
No, the love started way before, but the actual dating started. See, after my parents came back with me. But before that, we would sneak to the park, meet, talk. I would tell my mom, oh, you need eggs, you need bread, I'm going to town to get it.
Yeah, we used to have
As
this secret
soon as
park.
I leave the compound where we were living with my picky driver, I would call him, I'm coming, quickly come to the park. So I tell his boss, I need to go use the bathroom.
Yeah.
He comes, we meet in the park, we talk. That was our dating for the first longest time.
Thanks to that park.
He noticed that I had braces. What else did you
Yeah,
notice?
it was only the braces.
He told me,
Like
I
the
reminded
Ugly
him
Betty.
of Ugly Betty, so that's
You remember
nice.
that movie? Is it
The
a
girl who
series?
wears braces
Yeah, she used to.
He
when
liked
we met.
Yeah.
Oh, and you, Sylvia?
His arms.
Like right now.
Damn, it's the first thing I realized about him. He's there fixing phones and his arms are the size of Goliath, and I'm like,
But right now,
yeah, but see, I have you now.
right now I'm just building up.
I'm working
Kitambi.
on a kitambi. But yeah, I noticed his arms. What was my dream husband? The funny thing, I never knew, like, you know how some girls, oh, they're into white guys, they're into black. No, I never had any of that in mind. In fact, when I came to Kenya, I kind of had some things in the oven at home. But love doesn't choose. I never had any of those expectations, I can say. I had no idea I was gonna fall in love, and I never really had a dream guy. Yeah.
For me, yeah, I used to like while growing up, I could see like these tourists, the white ladies, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I want to have like a white lady as my wife, and God provided. So yeah.
It was really hard on them, just for the fact that I was always a good girl, right? Then I come to Kenya and Jakisi here messed me up in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way,
Yeah, so I was always that trustworthy girl, that girl they can depend on, and to know that I was getting to know this man behind their backs without their approval, it was a lot for my mom. I really disappointed them in that way. Yeah. They told me that it's obvious I have to go home, but my dad told me, go home, don't communicate with him all the time, which anyway, just every morning and evening. But anyway, I went home, I was sent back home, and he told me, if you go home, in 6 months from now, our term is up, we are also coming home. If you give me another 6 months at home, that's 1 year of not seeing him. Mom and I will come back with you to research about him. But first I want to know that this is not a fling, a crush. If you can go 1 year and you guys are still committed to each other, then I'll look into it. Yeah. So that's how it went. I went home, they stayed here, went and got a job. We tried to talk. I was going to work while he was going to bed. It was hard. Time differences.
Okay. For me, I think they just came to know about it. Like as time goes by, like I never broke any news to them. It was just like, okay, the thing is, I used to talk so much on the phone at night, and they could even tell me like, why are you always so much on your phone, like making phone calls? And
it just reminded me where I was when because you guys are probably asking, how was he talking a lot on the phone? So for me, I was in the compound, right, in the house with my whole family. So I used to lock my doors because ever since the thieves came, everyone would lock their bedroom door. So I locked my bedroom door, put the fan, a big fan in front of the door, put a towel over the fan to make the engine make more noise. Then I would go into my closet, I had a small chair, and I would put a blanket over my head and that's how we talked for even 3 hours straight.
inside a closet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you told your mom.
Okay, like as time goes by, I could show them like a picture, like
This is the person I am with.
not even like that, like they
His
could
family
they
is
could
very
see,
chill.
like yeah, like I said, I never broke any news to them, because I could post this picture, they were like, oh, Kevin is Tori is having a Mzungu friend,
Or
like,
he would put me in his WhatsApp
So-
profile.
I think they just came, it was like a like a
Planted.
slowly then yeah, it wasn't like boom, like attacking them like I'm dating a Mzungu, you see.
It depends which friends you're
Like
talking. Some of
relatives,
them.
apart from immediate family, now the cousins, the friends.
So I had a friend here in Africa actually that was really there supporting me each step of the way, but I can say all of them really cautioned me more than I'm happy for you. It was the caution, like, are you sure you can trust him? Are you sure that's what you want? And I remember my grandma told me, I mean, you know, you'll be having a black man. And I said, yeah, I know that. I don't even realize he's black. So she was like, yeah, you're probably used to it. But most people were just really happy because whenever they saw us together, they saw the love that we have. And they were like, who are we to say that? That can't be.
Their reactions.
Just
Were they saying you're dating her for green card? You know those stories, you know?
No, they told you I was a broke Mzungu.
From Kayore. I'm
Because
from
what have you gotten from her? Nothing. She doesn't have any money.
I know. Well, life,
Sorry, babe. I always
It's
just say
okay.
everything.
Yeah, but
I say
it's true.
everything.
Like some of my friends, they were like, give us money, like you're dating a Mzungu.
Yeah.
Then
You're
I could
dating
tell
the
them,
ATM.
Like, yeah, I could tell them that no, like she doesn't have money, like things like that. Yeah.
But you love her.
Just white, not that she is. Yeah.
They
And they
didn't
could be
believe
like,
me.
you are dating a broke Mzungu.
Yeah,
Things like that.
they
Yeah.
really made fun of him. Actually, you're dating a broke Mzungu.
Now come to marriage. Ever dated another guy before Colin?
No. He
Colin?
was the first guy I dated.
Colin ever dated another girl before Colin?
Not dating, but seeing.
That's
Okay,
the
it's
same
the
thing.
same thing.
It's the same thing. Okay.
What did
How-
you do?
Fears. How did you approach the parents?
Okay.
You knew
friends?
well how my family was feeling, so what did you do?
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't easy, especially from the Mennonite church she used to go to. She was a Mennonite up to now, right?
Which
We
is
are
a little bit
Mennonite.
confusing, but Amish and Mennonite are kind of the same, but Mennonites are more liberal as far as they're allowed to drive cars, have electricity, have bought-in clothes, they're allowed to fly. Amish are not even allowed to fly in airplanes. So the Mennonites that are here, the Mishnah is with, they're Mennonites,
They're
not
not
Amish.
Amish.
So they're kind of cousin religion. So
Yeah,
they were
so
Mennonite.
because she used to be a Mennonite, so it wasn't easy for me, and you know, it was so hard. Like I love this lady, and there's no way I could be able to have her unless I join the like
You joined their religion, yeah?
they are joining their religion.
He went to great lengths. We took his dad's car and we went to Jennifer's Gardens. I don't know, there's another name for it. We call it Jennifer's Gardens, but there's another, Keptum?
I can't remember
It's
that
a
name.
beautiful garden up in Nandi anyway.
Nandi,
So we went up there for the day, we had a picnic, but he took me out. There was like a little island in the water area. So he took me out there. We were just looking around, taking pictures of the flowers and the trees, and all of a sudden I turn around and he's there on one knee with a ring, and he's like, "Will you be my wife?" It's like, yes! And that's where we were engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a little tricky.
Uh,
It was tricky because of the she came as a missionary, and they had like some rules of not dating like other, like even among themselves. Or
You
even,
are not allowed to be in a relationship while you work for their mission. Whether it's with an African or with a fellow missionary, it was not allowed.
yeah, so it was so hard on our side. So that's why I'm saying we used to have this secret park where we used to go and meet, we talk, and it actually we did it for quite some time.
Long time.
Yeah, imagine me leaving the office, telling my boss I'm going for lunch, or maybe I'm going to collect something. Then we meet at the park, at the park. So it happened like for a very long time before
The actual dating.
she
Yeah.
decided, before she
Before I
decided
decided.
to let her parents know
Yeah.
about our
So
love.
that's a whole nother thing. It was scary because I knew I wasn't supposed to. It was scary because it was another culture I was dating, and also I didn't know him. You can go ahead on
Yeah,
that.
by the help of support from her dad, we were able to plan the wedding.
So
Like
it
the two
would,
of us.
like in my culture, Mennonite culture, and even Amish, the girl's family takes care of the wedding. So that's kind of how we did it, and his family chipped in with like transport and different things. But my dad gives each of us girls in our family money towards our wedding, money that he saves up.
Be like
Because
a
I think the
dowry.
way he would see it is because the girl's family is usually the one asking for dowry. They'll tell you how much.
yeah.
So he was like, she's the girl in this situation, and all I'm asking is that you treat her like your own daughter. I don't feel comfortable accepting money or cows because it's not our culture.
So it's total different culture now.
Yeah. The best part was to have this lady as my wife.
Just having my whole family together with him and his family, and like everything being in the open, and we were allowed to love each other. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
And especially having your dad at our wedding, despite the COVID.
He had went home before our wedding, and he was in the hospital with COVID, and we thought we were going to lose him. He had to learn how to walk again, how to talk, so we almost lost him. So to be able to have him at our wedding was really special.
For you.
Yeah.
Kabisa. Just there at the resort where we had our wedding at Rusinga Island, and so because we did our wedding there, they gave us like 2 nights and 3 days. So because our money was already getting small,
Yeah.
we decided we'll just leave it at that.
No, I remember we were supposed to have our honeymoon in the US. Sindio. But because of the COVID and we were not able to travel, so we kept on postponing it until. Yeah. So for us, it was like the 2 nights was our
That
honeymoon.
was our honeymoon.
okay. Nice.
Oh, no difference.
I always say it's
They are real.
beautifully difficult because it's really beautiful, but it's also difficult because it takes a lot of communication. When you're just dating and you're
You're having fun.
you're meeting in the park, and it's all a big adventure. You don't always know everything about a person. So he's learned things about me that he didn't know. I've learned things about him I didn't know. But it's been good. Married life has been amazing. To be together all the time. It's great. Yeah. What do you have to say?
Okay, it was a little bit hard on my side because having like her as my wife, I had to work so hard because
Yeah, high maintenance.
I mean, yeah,
You're right.
you know, she doesn't like. She never used to like ugali, like some other food. So it was a little bit expensive to at first, but as time goes by, it became normal for me, and we came to like not even coming, but life became easier for both of us as time went by.
It was just to further get to know each other. Like, he realized I might not want uji every morning for breakfast, or I might not like githeri for supper. It was a more high maintenance maybe. Yeah, but I came 50, he came 50, we met in the middle, and
Yeah, actually, that's the thing that really helped us, like meeting in the middle, not like I'm forcing her to eat ugali and omena,
Yeah.
and she doesn't like it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
or I'm forcing you to eat raw salads and you don't
And
like
you
them.
don't like salads. Yeah.
So we just meet. I can say the best moment for me personally in our marriage is when we are able to come through a difficult time that before would have pushed us apart for a few days, but now we know how to approach it, to handle it, we talk through it. Yeah, so that's always my favorite moment, when I see progress in the way we relate to each other and communicate, instead of saying maybe hurtful things and being separated in anger. Like, we are able to talk them rationally and like get through a hard time. Yeah.
Best moments.
Yeah, the best moment in marriage is, I can say, to spend most of my time with her. Just being close to her, enjoying life with her, like, yeah. Like before marriage, it was like just seeing her like once, maybe once, twice in a week, or even three times in a week. But being able to have that time, like just spending time with her, that's what it actually makes a marriage for me to be like the best thing.
Maybe sometime in the future. Right now we don't have any
Yeah.
plans. Yeah.
How many children?
However many God gives us.
Anyway,
Do you have
Maybe
any?
4 maximum.
maximum
Around 4,
four,
Max.
minimum 2.
minimum 2.
Minimum 1. Yeah, somewhere there.
Challenging moments.
Challenging is yeah. Okay, for me, I think it's when it comes to communication. I'm not that person who I never used to like communicate a lot, but now for her and like where she came from, they communicate a lot. So that was like a very big challenge for me. Up to now, I'm still
You're learning.
I'm learning to work things out. Yeah.
Get there. Challenging moments, Sylvia.
Yeah, I can say probably the most challenging part for me has been, just being single until in your late 20s. Sometimes it's hard for me to reprogram that I don't get to make all the decisions about how things are gonna go, and when we're gonna eat supper, and when we're gonna do this, and when we're gonna do that. I'm now joined with another person that it's a partnership when it comes to making plans. So
The
I'm
responsibility part.
yeah, I'm a leader, and I've been used to making my own decisions, just blazing ahead on my own, doing what I wanted when I wanted. So to include the other person and maybe ask, what do you think about this?
Another hustle.
Yeah, it's not at all. I didn't even know that Africa is a continent. I thought Kenya, like, it's kind of like in the States, America, then we have Ohio, Texas. So for me, I knew it was that way. Like, Africa is the country, Kenya is the state. Like, so if you think of starting from there, I knew nothing. Like, we started going over speed bumps of which I didn't understand. Why are they here?
The potholes.
And potholes and cows. I was very worried, like someone's cows are out. They're just walking on the road. Like, why is no one getting them?
Or maybe sleeping on the road.
Yeah, like laying. Yeah, so many things.
The
I
airport.
was surprised by the modernization of Nairobi, because that is what most Westerns don't see, right? From Kenya is actually how developed some places are. So I was excited. I think the real culture shock came when I arrived in Kisumu. Yeah, that was a little bit more of a step back. Yeah. We stayed overnight at a guest house in Nairobi, and then the next day we traveled to Kisumu. And I just remember eating banana passion for the first time. I had never ever seen anything like that. And we were watching like the zebras and the giraffes on the plains. It felt like I went on another planet. Like, it was a world I had never seen before. In Nairobi, it was very nice. Yes, they have a really nice guest house there. They were very friendly. They were used to our mission people coming there. It's a place where we mostly stay when we go to Nairobi, so they knew we were with the mission, and yeah, they have a really nice place there.
Okay.
So you traveled with your family, like mom, siblings?
Yes, I traveled with my mom and dad and my 3 younger brothers. There's twins that follow me, and then I have 1 more younger brother. I also have an older sister, but she's already married with kids in the States, so it was just the 4 remaining. Yeah. No, we drove from Nairobi to Kisumu. Someone came from the mission to pick us up there and drive us back.
Okay.
First experience with Kenyan food, how was it?
Ugali had no taste, none.
Up to date.
Up to date. Up to date, I can tell the taste. I even prefer the village one, but I'll always add salt to it.
Wow.
It needs it needs flavor. So ugali was completely tasteless. In my mind, I just felt like, why not just eat glue? It's the same. Chapati was nice. I really liked chapati and beans. That was an easy meal to start on. Skuma wiki was a little strange for me. We would usually eat it raw, maybe in salads, so having it cooked was a new thing. I had never heard of bajias, I had never heard of mandazis. By this time I'm 23 years old. I had never heard of any of those things. So it was a lot of new food. Because for chapatis, we would call it flatbread or unleavened bread.
Weather? Talk about weather.
The weather, I can say it was kind of like one of our southern states called Florida, where it never snows. It's always hot and dry there. So it reminded me a lot of that, but I think the heat is not as full of humidity as it is at home. At home, even if it's hot and you sit under the shade, you'll still sweat. But at least here, when you move to the shade, it's very cool. So I was surprised that as much as it's hot and you can feel like you're right on the equator, the sun is just beating down on you. When you move to the shade, it's cool. It's very interesting, and it's something that I still learn about every day. The thing that amazes me the most is how people have very little, but they're so willing to share. They want to give you, even if it's the last loaf of bread they have, they'll make chai for you and they want you to eat it, you know. The incredible hospitality of the Kenyan people has just blown me away. Yeah. It's hard to compare it because both have their pros and cons. But before I came, I was a secretary for my dad at his business. He builds storage sheds. So I was a secretary there, and then later on I was a housekeeper. I cleaned houses for a living. They pay really good in the States to have houses cleaned. So that's what I was doing. So now that I'm here, I've done all kinds of things since I'm here, trying to, start a good business. We made pallet beds for a while. Of course, we did the whole Mandazi charade, and what else did we do? I made ices. Was there anything else we tried?
No.
But it's been different here as far as what I was used to. I can say I did grow up in a wealthier family, and I was not used to doing without. So that's one thing that has been good for me being here, because ever since I was really young, my dad would remove money from my paycheck and put it in my savings. So by the time I was getting married, I had a nice savings. I was used to having a savings, even 15, 16, 17. I knew I have savings. So I remember the day here that after our wedding, I kept telling him, like, okay, we're getting lower and lower, and we were trying like different businesses. He was working as much as he could. And I remember the day I went broke. Like, my last dollar was spent. And I almost had a panic attack because I had never been broke before. And I remember I didn't sleep well and I was stressed up, and he's like, no, welcome to Now Broke Together. So we were just broke together, and I learned how to live from day by day, which is something I've never done. I've never not known what I was going to eat tomorrow. But it's been good for me to realize that you don't have to have everything planned out the way I used to if it's not possible. Yeah, so I live a very different life here. Now at times I'm the one telling him, don't worry about what we'll have for supper, God will provide. So I'm learning. Being on the news, hey, being on the news all the time is really embarrassing. The first time it happened, when Citizen and everyone was doing the story about my mandazis, it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then some of the aftermath that follows, whereby people now think they know you, and so they make a lot of assumptions about you and talk about you, and it's strange, and it can be embarrassing. They just write stories without even letting me know or asking me. It's just a headline about me, about something. So that has been hard for me to deal with.
No, I don't think if I've ever come across any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gossips
Yes.
in the village? Any gossips?
Are people
No,
gossiping
when I was
in the
in
village?
court.
I've never heard of any.
I don't think. I mean, amongst some of the Mennonite churches, they did. They really talked. So the mission I was with, back to the mission again. The mission I was with has been here in Kenya for over 30 years. We were the first interracial couple. So gossip definitely flew, like people talking about us, but I don't know if it was anything juicy to share about. Just like Corey's dating a Mzungu, like finally a missionary has accepted one of ours, and things like that, Gosh, where to begin? I've had so many good moments here in Kenya.
That one.
I know, I'm searching for it. Help a sister out. Can you think
If you're
of
not
any?
comfortable,
No, if I can think of one, I'll definitely
Your wedding?
say. Of course, my wedding, for sure. I really don't know what else. I don't have like just a huge defining moment that I've had. Yeah.
culture shock to
Corey?
you.
Best moment.
Best moment, I can just say when she said yes. Yeah, when I proposed and she said yes. And kissing her for the first time, yeah.
Was it the first time?
I really kept him at arm's length, by the way, with my culture. We really
It
have
was
rules.
during our wedding.
Wow.
No, it wasn't.
So,
No. I mean, that sounds nice, but no. Love each other well, communicate well, forgive quickly. And what else? Yeah, just that.
not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any plans?
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has not ever been outside of Kenya, so anywhere I take him will be a new experience.
Okay.
It didn't go the best. I tried making ugali. I was a new wife trying to impress my husband. I've seen it done before. In my mind, I know how. So I just put some water in a sufaria. I added salt because it needed flavor, in my opinion. Then the water was, I saw some steam coming up from it, that it was hot. So I just added the flour, stirred it up, and put it in a plate.
And that was ugali.
That was ugali, and he's like tasting it. I'm like, oh boy, just eat and act like it's okay.
Like it actually tasted very different. It tasted like odoa, but it was.
So he told me
It's
the
so
water
different.
didn't boil.
Yeah.
I was so surprised that he knew what was happening in the kitchen when he was in the living room, but I always boil my water now.
Okay.
Any question?
Yeah, sweet message you have for Colin and Colin Sylvia.
Honey, nakupenda tu sana. And I just want to tell you that thank you for loving me for me. Even though I can be strong-willed and I don't know how to cook ugali, but you love me. And that means a lot to me. I'm not your typical wife from your culture. I'm less than them when it comes to the food you're used to having and the things you're used to having, but thanks for choosing me and for loving me. I love you.
Corey.
Yeah. I just want to let you know that I love you so much from deep down my heart. As much as I don't always communicate well, but you're always there to understand. And about the ugali, you're doing so good to prepare ugali. And because of just those simple things, it makes me love you so much, and I don't want to lose you. You're just the best thing that it has ever happened in my life.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
babe.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Hey.
Love each other well, communicate well, forgive quickly. And what else? Yeah, just that. Yeah.
Your individual message to the world each.
Hey. You guys are deep. Individual message to the world. Be yourself, be creative, have fun, enjoy your life. And just let go of the people who don't like you, because there's people there who love you for who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, message to the world is to let's stop racism. Yeah, let's love one another. Let's have peace, and we live.
Happily like human beings.
Yeah, we just live happily like human beings.
About colors.
Yeah. I want the world to remember me for seeing each person individually and for appreciating them, but also I want to be known as a person who wasn't afraid to experience new cultures and new experiences in life, and a person that was open-minded, whether it's someone who is like me or someone who is not like me, but it's someone that at the end of the day I give them a hug knowing that I love them even if we don't agree. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I want people to remember me as if you love someone and you be faithful to them, anything is possible. Like you guys can go far. Like ours, you know, for like our relationship, we passed through a lot. Like people up to date, they're still waiting for us to fall or to fail. But I want in 70 years to let them know that anything is possible. Like as long as there's love, anything is possible. Yeah, you just love your partner the way they are.
Future plans about your YouTube channel, maybe?
So our future plans is that you guys are gonna subscribe and that we are just gonna keep growing it. Our goal is to not be as worried about are we going to have a home here in Kenya or back in the US, but we want to just travel a lot. I don't know, I always say we want to be nomads. We just want to travel the world with the money we get from YouTube. We invest it into traveling.
But not just to travel, to have fun, but to show you guys these like different places. Yeah, that is just our main reason why we want to travel.
Okay, I'm on Instagram at Sylvia_Bichanga, so you can always DM me on Instagram if you want to reach out. Yes.
Okay, in Instagram you can find me at Kore_the_traveler, or maybe you can just type Kelvin Bichanga, and yeah.
Yes, you guys make sure to subscribe to her channel. If her channel is like ours, you find so many people are watching but they're not subscribing. So take a moment, go hit the subscribe button to our channel.
Like and share too.
Yes.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Notification bell, yeah.
Yeah.